Instead of taking pictures and posting them all on Facebook, I'm just going to make a video this time. Back in the day when this plane was built, we used to have to run 4 servos just on the rudder, which this plane was originally built for. 1 slot, 2, 3, and the 4th one is hiding right there under my new receiver. Nowadays, they make servos strong enough to run just one on that rudder, which the rudder on these aerobatic planes see a lot of abuse and use. So, and also, there's no more switch. You just take a plug out of here and it turns the whole radio on, which is amazing. So, on top of being extremely powerful, these servos are also extremely fast. I don't remember what the specs are on this radio or on this servo, but I believe they are around 800 ounce-inches of torque, which back in the day we were running 4 servos with around 150 ounce-inches of torque each. So this one servo is more powerful than all 4 of those servos added together. But I'm slowly making progress on this. My brother's coming over today. He's going to make a wire to go from my kill switch so I can shut the radio off at the remote. Run that back to the receiver there. The ignition system, which is tucked right up under there. And the radio is all going to be run off these 2 batteries instead of running 2 batteries for the radio and 1 battery for the ignition, because the draw for the ignition is actually quite low, so I can easily run the ignition and the radio off of those 2 batteries. And I'm contemplating putting my smoke system in it. Don't know yet. I also have a friend that's going to be coming over at some point in time in the next couple of weeks, and he has the idea to put a GoPro on this. And what I'm thinking, and we're going to discuss when he comes over here, I'm thinking about putting it on the landing gear, sort of. The landing gear bolts up to the fuselage with those 4 bolts. So I'm thinking of making a plate that goes on there that gets bolted on top of, or in this case, on the bottom of the landing gear, and has a GoPro mount on it. And the one thing that I was really worried about with that is the exhaust. Most of these planes from back in the day had exhaust canisters that came right off of here and dumped right there. This plane does not have that. This plane is actually running tune pipes, and the tune pipes exit, get out of the way, right there behind the landing gear. So we shouldn't really have a problem with it, because the landing gear, actually, you can see the marks on the covering. The cuffs go right here and right over there. So the landing gear is going to be mounted right here. So we could put the GoPro right there, facing forwards or backwards, or maybe we put a 360 on it, and it will be well clear of getting oil and everything from the exhaust on it. Aside from that, I'm just surprised that this plane is still flying. These aerobatic planes typically have a very short lifespan, 3, 4, maybe 5 years. I helped build this plane with Brian Huffmeyer because this was his personal plane. I was a teenager, and I'm 37 now. This plane is 20 plus years old, and it's still flying. And I've flown a lot of different planes in my lifetime, RC planes, and this is by far the best flying plane I've ever flown. So, kind of looking forward to getting this one back in the air, especially with all the new radio gear and everything. Progress on the Edge 540 back there, the big Edge 540, has come to a stop. I, as most of you know, am working on going back to school, which is why I sold my house and have made a lot of life changes over the past couple of months. So I am not going to really have any more money to put into that plane. So that plane's going to be stored down here until I get back from school, get a job, and be able to put more money in it. All the radio gear that's going in this plane was originally intended to go in that one, but I had an elevator servo failure on this one. I actually believe it was the one on this side. I went to pull to do a loop, and the plane it was rolling a little bit as it was doing it. Nothing uncontrollable. It was just trying to roll as well. So once I landed, I looked at it. I threw the elevator controls to see what was going on, and one was throwing more than the other one was. And I've double checked the programming several times. The programming's correct. When I originally set it up, it was all working correctly. So I'm assuming it is a servo failure. So I grounded the plane, and all of the radio gear that was intended for the Edge is now going in this. Right now I just have to tidy some things up. The elevator servos are already in the elevators, which are down there. Yeah, the top two. The bottom two are for the Edge. Those top two, those already have the new elevator servos in it. The wings have the wing servos in it. I've replaced those. I've got a new throttle servo in this. Right there. Obviously the monstrous rudder servo. The only other couple of things that we're going to fix before it goes flying again, this had 5 switches in it for some reason. So it had a switch here, 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 and here. Those holes are all going to get filled, as well as the fuel fill here. I'm going to fill this in. We're going to put new covering on both of these sides. We should just have to do the red stripe. So we're going to get that finished up, because I'm only going to have this one switch right here, which just has this hanging out of it to turn it off. So, and then once I pull that will turn on the radio, it'll turn on the ignition, everything will be ready to go. And yeah, I am considering putting the smoke system in this, because I do have one. The other thing I do have for the other Edge already, so this plane has a DA-150 in it. This is 120-ish, 120-inch wingspan. Some are really close to that. The Edge 540 is 124-inch. This has a 150. That is getting a Desert Aircraft DA-215. That plane is going to be monstrous. So, I've not done anything to lighten the weight on that. I didn't do any wing coring. I didn't put any carbon supports in it. There's no carbon under the foam on the elevator, rudders, or wing. Elevators, rudder, or wing. So yeah, I can't wait to get that plane flying, but I need to focus on doing things for myself first. And now that the stress from selling my house is mostly gone, I still only have to do closing. I'm going to take some time and do some work on this, because I have everything I need and I don't have to spend any more money on it, which is really, really good. So I can get this back up in the air, go flying, and we'll have some fun. And hopefully, me and my friend are going to get together. We'll get a GoPro mounted on the bottom of this, and we'll get some good footage too. And he's also a photographer, so maybe while we're taking footage, he can snap some pictures, because I've seen his camera and he's got a really good camera. So we'll see how it goes. See, that's so much easier than just typing up a bunch of stuff and posting some pictures. Big plane. And just for those of you that don't know, that table from there to here is 8 feet long. And I've got 6 inches of the rudder sticking off the back. And I got a couple inches of engine sticking off the front. So this is a massive plane. There are bigger made, but to do what this thing does, typically there's nothing that much bigger. So, all right, I'll make another video later, or maybe I'll just post up some more stuff. I don't know. See you guys.